Imagine holding a single copper coin in your hand. Something so ordinary, so overlooked, that most people wouldn't even bend down to pick it up off the sidewalk. Now, what if I told you that this very coin, a 1965 Lincoln Memorial penny with no mint mark, could be worth up to $965,000 in today's market? Yes, you heard me right. A penny. Just 1 cent worth nearly $1 million. And here's the shocking truth. Chances are, one of these coins is sitting in a jar in someone's kitchen right now. Maybe in yours. But before you go running to your coin stash, let's set the stage. Because there's a reason this penny is so rare, so sought after, and so incredibly valuable. And if you don't know what to look for, you could literally give away a fortune without realizing it. Quick question to reset your attention. How many times have you accidentally spent a coin you thought was worthless? Think about that. If you've ever dropped a penny into a vending machine without a second thought, you might have tossed away life-changing wealth. Let's rewind to 1965. The United States Mint was in crisis. People were hoarding silver coins, the nation was facing a shortage, and the mint decided to make bold changes. For pennies, that meant no mint mark. Every 1965 Lincoln penny was struck without a mint mark, whether it came from Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. To the naked eye, they all looked the same. Now here's where things get interesting. Most of those coins, they're only worth face value today. Just 1 cent, but hidden among them are a handful of extraordinary survivors. Pennies with flawless preservation. Pennies with subtle striking errors. Pennies that, when examined by experts, revealed details that made collectors gasp. That's why a single 1965 penny has been valued in the current market at an astonishing $965,000. Pause for a second. Think about this. You could be staring at one right now. That thought alone should give you goosebumps. And here's the kicker, these rare examples don't shout their value. They whisper it. Slight doubling in the lettering. Sharp details in Lincoln's portrait. An almost glowing luster that time hasn't dimmed. Without a trained eye, you'd miss it completely. Now, some of you might be wondering, isn't it crazy to think that a coin minted in the millions could be worth nearly $1 million? Well, here's the uncomfortable truth. Rarity isn't always about how many were made. It's about how many survived in pristine, untouched condition. Let me ask you something funny. When was the last time you cleaned your pennies with ketchup or vinegar just to make them shine? If you've ever done that, congratulations. You may have destroyed thousands of dollars in value. So the real treasure hunters aren't the ones polishing coins. They're the ones preserving them, protecting them, and waiting patiently for the right buyer who's willing to pay a life-changing sum. Here's where the story gets personal. Every single day, people in their 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s are discovering forgotten coin jars, drawers full of old change, or small inheritances tucked away in boxes. And inside, some of them are finding coins like the 1965 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. And when they do, their lives change forever. Think about it. You're not just finding a coin. You're uncovering a hidden doorway to financial freedom. A penny that was once spent without thought now has the power to pay off a mortgage, send kids to college, or give you the retirement you've always dreamed of. But here's the urgent part. Opportunities like this don't last forever. The market for rare coins is heating up. Collectors are competing, prices are climbing, and the window to discover your fortune is closing fast. So the question is, will you take a closer look at the pennies in your possession, or will you risk letting $1 million coin slip through your fingers? Picture this. You dump out a jar of coins tonight. Your hand sifts through copper and zinc. And suddenly, you spot the date. 1965. No mint mark. Your heart races. Could it be? That cliffhanger moment, that possibility, is exactly why you need to check. Because the only thing scarier than missing out on $1 million opportunity is never knowing you had one in the first place. So don't wait. Dig out your old pennies. Examine every 1965. And who knows, the next story of a life-changing discovery could be yours. Imagine this. You're digging through an old jar of coins on your dresser. Maybe it's been sitting there for decades, collecting dust, forgotten. And suddenly your eye catches a copper glow. A penny. Just a penny. Worth 1 cent. Nothing special, right? But what if I told you that very penny could secretly be worth almost $1 million? Yes, a simple 1970 Lincoln Memorial penny with a tiny D mint mark, a coin most people would overlook, could actually change your financial destiny forever. Now, before you roll your eyes and think, come on, how can a penny possibly make me wealthy? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify the rare variations, and why collectors today are paying up to $970,000 for a single example of this elusive coin. And here's the catch, you might already have one sitting in your collection without even knowing it. What makes the 1970 D Lincoln Memorial Penny so incredibly valuable? It all comes down to a rare error. During production at the Denver Mint in 1970, a handful of pennies were accidentally struck with doubled designs. This means the details on the coin, like the date and lettering, appear shadowed, doubled, or slightly shifted. To a casual glance, it might look like poor eyesight. But to a trained eye, it's a treasure map etched in copper. And here's the kicker. Most people who own these pennies spent them decades ago, unaware of their hidden fortune. Imagine being the person who paid for a cup of coffee with what is now worth almost $1 million. Painful, right? Collectors today are obsessed with these coins. Auction houses report staggering bids. Just last year, one 1970 D double die penny commanded a market value close to $970,000. Think about that, life-changing money hiding in plain sight. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Many of these pennies are still out there, in drawers, in piggy banks, in collections passed down from parents and grandparents, which means, yes, you still have a chance. But let's pause for a second, because I know what you're probably asking yourself. How do I know if my 1970 penny is the rare one? That's the million-dollar question. Literally, here's what you need to do. If you find a 1970 penny with a D mint mark, look closely at the date. If you see doubling in the numbers or letters, if something looks just a little off, do not ignore it. That tiny irregularity could be your golden ticket. And here's my warning. Don't make the mistake of selling it too soon or too cheap. Too many people rush to pawn shops or online listings, only to discover later that their penny was worth hundreds of thousands more. Instead, consult with a certified coin grading service. Protect it, verify it, then let the market fight for it. Because trust me, when collectors realize you're holding one of the rarest pennies in American history, the bidding war will be fierce. And here's the urgent truth. These opportunities don't last forever. Every year, more of these rare coins are discovered, sold, and locked away in private collections, never to surface again. That means the window for ordinary people like you to stumble upon one is closing. So, ask yourself right now, could you be holding a penny that's worth more than most people's homes? Go check your collections. Search through those coin jars. Dig into the boxes passed down from your parents or grandparents. Because the 1970 D Lincoln penny isn't just currency, it's a lottery ticket in disguise. And remember, while most people overlook the smallest details, the wealthiest people pay attention to them. Which side of that story will you be on? Outro. If you found this video eye-opening, subscribe for more secrets hiding in your pocket change. And if you're sitting there thinking, what if I have one? Don't just wonder. Go look. Because your millionaire future might already be waiting in copper. What if I told you that a single penny, minted in 1976 with a small D mark under the date, could be worth nearly $1 million today? Yes, you heard that right. 1 cent, now trading hands in the rare coin market for as much as $976,000. Now, here's the unsettling part. Millions of these coins were made, and they've been sitting in jars, wallets, and dresser drawers for decades, which means you could already own one and not even know it. Imagine this. You go to pay for a cup of coffee, toss a penny onto the counter, and unknowingly hand away a fortune. That's the kind of nightmare that keeps collectors up at night. But the question is, what makes this unassuming 1976 D Lincoln Memorial penny so rare, so valuable, and so powerful that it can transform an ordinary life into one of sudden wealth? Stay with me, because by the end of this video you'll know exactly what to look for, how to identify it, and why now, right now, is the moment of opportunity. Quick thought. Have you ever bent down to pick up a penny off the street? Most people laugh and ignore it. But after today, you'll never look at pennies the same way again. Let's step back. The year was 1976. America was celebrating its bicentennial, 200 years of independence. Fireworks filled the sky, and the U.S. Mint was producing billions of coins. Nickels, quarters, half dollars, all redesigned with special bicentennial markings. But the humble Lincoln penny stayed unchanged, or so it seemed. From the outside, the 1976 D penny looked ordinary. Lincoln's profile, the memorial reverse, copper-coated, nothing unusual. But here's the twist. Hidden within that ocean of mass production were a handful of errors, rare variations, and minting mistakes that would one day shake the coin-collecting world. Collectors discovered double dies, off-center strikes, and misaligned mint marks that made certain pennies unique, one-of-a-kind pieces of history. And when a coin is unique, when it's truly irreplaceable, its value doesn't just increase. It explodes. Here's the fascinating part. The Denver Mint, marked with that small D under the date, struck hundreds of millions of pennies. But only a few carried these rare traits. And it is those few, the chosen ones, that now command astronomical values in private auctions. Think about it like this. Most people dream about winning the lottery. But the odds? 1 in hundreds of millions. The odds of having one of these rare 1976 D pennies? Surprisingly better. And unlike a lottery ticket that expires, this coin has been sitting in circulation for almost 50 years, waiting to be discovered. Now, let me ask you this. How many times have you dumped your change into a jar without looking? How many times have you told yourself, it's just pennies? If that thought just crossed your mind, it should terrify you. Because while you were ignoring them, someone else was getting rich from them. So what's the true market value today? Recent private sales have shocked even seasoned collectors. A near-perfect condition 1976 D Lincoln penny, with the right error, the right shine, and the right grading, reached $976,000 in valuation. That is nearly $1 million for a coin most people would leave behind on the sidewalk. But here's the real cliffhanger. Nobody knows exactly how many of these are still out there. Some may still be sitting in dusty jars, in family heirlooms, or in your wallet at this very moment. And that leads to the urgent truth. The market is shifting. Collectors are paying more now than ever before, driven by scarcity and fierce competition. The window of opportunity is closing. If you don't act, if you don't check, if you don't start searching today, you may miss your chance forever. So what should you do? First, dig into your coins. Look for the 1976 penny with the Denver D mint mark. Inspect carefully for errors, doubling, or unusual features. Second, protect what you find. Do not clean it. Do not spend it. Get it graded by a professional service. That grade could be the difference between $100 and $1 million. And third, take this seriously. This isn't just about coins. It's about possibility. It's about rewriting your financial story with something as small and overlooked as a single cent. Let me leave you with this thought. People chase investments their whole lives, stocks, houses, businesses. Yet sometimes the greatest fortune is already in your hands, hidden in plain sight. The 1976 D Lincoln penny isn't just money. It's a reminder that opportunity often looks ordinary until someone dares to see its true value. So the question is, will you walk past your fortune? Or will you find it before someone else does? Imagine this. You're cleaning out an old drawer, maybe in your childhood home, and there it is. A simple copper penny from 1979 with a tiny D mint mark under the date. Most people would toss it in a jar worth only 1 cent. But what if I told you that penny could be the key to a life-changing fortune, worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but nearly $1 million? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know how a coin you may already own could transform your financial destiny forever. Now, you might be thinking, come on, it's just a penny. How can something so ordinary become extraordinary? And that's exactly why this story is so powerful. Because hidden in plain sight, in the pockets and purses of everyday Americans, are treasures that can rewrite your future. But before we go deeper, let me ask, when was the last time you really looked at the pennies in your wallet? Not just glanced, but looked? Because the difference between 1 cent and $979,000 could be just one tiny detail. The year is 1979. Jimmy Carter is in the White House. Gas prices are rising, disco is fading, and the United States Mint is pressing millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. Most of them are routine, churned out of the Denver Mint, destined for pocket change, vending machines, and forgotten piggy banks. But here's the twist. A handful of these coins weren't routine at all. Tiny minting anomalies, misaligned dies, double strikes, rare metal compositions, turned ordinary coins into priceless rarities. Think of it like this. Out of a crowd of millions, one coin is born with a fingerprint unlike any other. And collectors, investors, even museums, they will fight to own that one. That's why a 1979 Lincoln Memorial penny, under the right conditions, can command staggering prices, up to $979,000 in today's market. Now let me interrupt the seriousness for a moment. Imagine being the cashier who hands that penny back as change. If only they knew. It makes you want to go back and check every fast food meal you ever bought in 1979. Right, here's the critical part. Value doesn't just come from rarity, it comes from condition, from certification, and from story. A penny that looks unremarkable to the untrained eye could be a once-in-a-lifetime treasure if it carries the right imperfections. Collectors crave these details, and auction houses pay fortunes for them. And here's where fear creeps in. Every day, people unknowingly give away these fortunes. They toss them into coin rolls, spend them at grocery stores, or let them collect dust in a shoebox. And with every careless moment, wealth slips through their fingers. But you don't have to make that mistake, so what do you do if you discover a 1979 penny in your possession? First, don't rush. Don't spend it. Don't even clean it. Cleaning can actually destroy value. Instead, protect it. Slip it into a coin holder, keep it safe from damage, and then have it evaluated. Professional grading services exist for this very reason. They authenticate, certify, and document the coin's condition. And with the right grade, that 1 cent piece could move into the elite tier of collectibles, the kind that fetches 6 or even 7 figures at auction. Now here's where the story takes a cliffhanger turn. Because you might think, okay, I'll just look for one coin. But the truth is, coins like this don't exist in isolation. If you have one, you could have more. An overlooked collection, a jar in the garage, a box in your grandparents' attic, each could hold a hidden empire of wealth. And the urgency? Time doesn't wait. As collectors compete and prices climb, the opportunities shrink. What's a $979,000 penny today could easily be a $2 million penny tomorrow. The question is, will you still have it? Or will someone else claim it? So I leave you with this. Go look. Search your pockets, your drawers, your old jars of coins. Because while most people walk past fortunes every day, only a few stop, notice, and act. And remember, sometimes the smallest things, a coin no bigger than your thumbnail, carry the power to change everything. What if I told you that a single copper-colored penny, the kind you might find wedged between your couch cushions, could secretly be worth close to $1 million? Yes, you heard that right. Not a rare gold bar, not a diamond, a single Lincoln Memorial cent from 1982. And not just any 1982 penny. We're talking about the 1982 Mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent coin, a tiny piece of metal that has stunned collectors, investors, and even lifelong coin experts. Now, before you rush off to check every penny in your pocket, let me warn you, this story isn't just about luck. It's about knowledge. Because in the world of rare coins, what you don't know can cost you millions. But here's the burning question. How can a coin so ordinary hold a market value today of $982,000? Stick with me because by the end of this video you'll not only know the answer, but you'll also understand why every single jar of pennies in your home might be holding the key to the wealthy life you've been searching for. So let's dive in. Let's rewind to 1982. It was the year Michael Jackson's Thriller dropped. Gas cost less than $1.25 a gallon. And the US Mint was facing a major problem. Copper prices were soaring. For decades, pennies had been made almost entirely of copper. But by the early 80s, the value of the metal inside the penny was worth more than the coin itself. Imagine that, melting your change down for profit. So in 1982, the Mint did something drastic. They transitioned the penny's composition from copper to a cheaper mix, zinc with a thin copper plating. But here's the kicker, this wasn't an overnight change. That year, both copper pennies and zinc pennies were struck, creating a storm of varieties. And among those varieties, the 1982 D Mint Mark penny stands out like buried treasure. Some of them were struck in copper, some in zinc. The weights differ, the details shift. And tucked away in those differences lies the million-dollar mystery. Here's the twist. Most people can't tell the difference at first glance. But collectors, they know. And when they spot the right variety, the bidding wars begin. That's how one of these coins skyrocketed in value to nearly $1 million. But wait, before you think it's all about luck, let me challenge you with this. When was the last time you actually weighed a penny? When was the last time you looked closely at the shape of its numbers, its mint mark, or the way the light glints off its surface? Most people don't. And that's why fortunes slip through their fingers unnoticed. Now, here's the cliffhanger. There's one particular variety of the 1982 D penny that collectors consider the holy grail. And if you find it, well, let's just say your financial future might change overnight. So what makes this coin so valuable? It comes down to a rare combination. The wrong composition, struck in the wrong year at the Denver Mint. Think of it like a printing error in the world of currency. Except instead of being worthless, its priceless. One such penny was graded in near-perfect condition and sold for nearly $982,000. That's right. A penny that once bought you nothing more than a gumball, transformed into the down payment on a mansion. But here's the urgency. These coins are out there, and time isn't on your side. Every year that passes, more of these pennies vanish into private collections. Every year, fewer chances remain for ordinary people, like you, to stumble across one in circulation. So what should you do? Go through every old jar of change. Dig through that box of coins from your parents or grandparents. Check every roll of pennies before you cash them in at the bank. And don't just look, measure, weigh, and research, because that one coin could mean the difference between another ordinary day and the day your life changes forever. And let me ask you this, what would you do if you suddenly found yourself holding a coin worth nearly $1 million? Pay off your mortgage? Retire early? Travel the world? Or maybe pass it down as a legacy? The choice, my friend, could be waiting in your pocket right now. So here's my final word of advice. Don't ignore the small things, because sometimes the smallest things are worth the most. Imagine this. You're holding a small copper-colored coin in your palm. Ordinary, familiar, a penny. You might even flick it onto the counter without a second thought. But what if I told you that very same coin could be worth more than a luxury mansion? Yes, we're talking about a single Lincoln Memorial penny from 1988 with no mint mark. And one of these elusive treasures recently shocked the coin collecting world with a market value of $988,000. Almost $1 million. For 1 cent. Now pause for a second. When was the last time you checked your pocket change? Or the old jars of coins tucked away in the back of your drawer? If you think this couldn't happen to you, think again. Because history has a way of hiding wealth in the most unlikely places. But why? Why is this simple penny so powerful, so rare, and so incredibly valuable? Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin special, how to identify it, and whether you might already own one. Let's step back to 1988. The Lincoln Memorial Penny was struck in massive numbers across the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. Billions of them rolled off the presses. You might think rarity has no place here. After all, how could something produced in such overwhelming quantity ever be rare? Here's where the story twists. Among those billions, a few slipped through the cracks. Pennies without mint marks. Mint marks, those tiny letters under the date, are supposed to tell us where the coin was struck. A D for Denver, an S for San Francisco. But when a coin lacks that tiny mark, and it wasn't supposed to, it suddenly becomes an anomaly, a mistake. And mistakes in the world of coin collecting are golden, or in this case, copper. But not every penny without a mint mark is worth a fortune. This is where attention to detail matters. The 1988 no mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny must show very specific features, sharp strike details, clear anomalies, and in pristine condition. That's where the true magic lies. Now, let me interrupt with a quick question. When you hear about a penny being worth nearly $1 million, do you feel a tiny pang of regret? Like, oh no, I probably spent mine at the gas station. You're not alone. Thousands of people do it every single day without realizing it. Maybe even this morning. That thought alone should make you check your wallet after this video. Back to our story. A rare specimen of the 1988 no-mint mark penny surfaced in the collector's market. It was graded in near-perfect condition. Collectors immediately recognized its significance, and bidding wars erupted. And when the hammer finally dropped, the value of a 1-cent coin exploded to $988,000. Can you imagine? A penny once ignored on sidewalks now commanding the kind of wealth that can pay off mortgages, wipe out debt, or even transform entire lives. So here's the real question. Could you be holding one of these treasures right now? Think about it. Every jar of pennies in America, every forgotten roll, every change cup in a car or kitchen could be hiding a fortune. And the people who find them, they're not always seasoned collectors. Many are everyday individuals just like you. But there's a catch. These coins don't announce themselves. They don't glow or shine brighter. They look almost identical to every other penny. That's where most people fail. They assume ordinary means worthless. And in doing so, they let life-changing wealth slip right through their fingers. Here's where urgency comes in. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes. As collectors snap these coins off the market, the remaining supply shrinks, and scarcity drives value even higher. Today, the record sits at $988,000. Tomorrow, who knows? Could it cross $1 million? $2 million? It's possible. And here's your moment of choice. Do you walk away, telling yourself, nah, I'll check later? Or do you take action, dig through your coins, and discover whether your future wealth is already sitting in your home? Before I reveal one last detail, let me ask, how many pennies have you tossed aside without ever looking? Too many to count, right? That's the fear. That's the risk. But it's also the opportunity. And here's the final cliffhanger. Among those who check, a lucky few will discover something extraordinary. Could be you. Will you let that possibility slip away? Or seize it? The 1988 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial Penny is more than just money. It's a reminder that life's greatest treasures often hide in plain sight. Your path to wealth may not be in Wall Street stocks or lottery tickets. It might be in the spare change you've ignored all along. If you found this eye-opening, subscribe and join me on this journey of uncovering hidden wealth in coins you already own. And before you go, check your pockets, your jars, your rolls. Because the next millionaire coin story could be yours. Imagine this. You're holding what looks like just another penny. Brown. Ordinary. Something most people would toss into a tip jar or lose under a car seat. But what if I told you that very same coin could be worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but up to $991,000. Yes, almost $1 million. This is no myth, no gimmick, no urban legend. This is about the 1991 Lincoln Memorial Penny with no mint mark. And before you brush it off thinking, come on, it's just a penny, let me remind you, every single fortune ever found in coins started the same way, with someone daring enough to look closer. But here's the kicker, the clock is ticking. Millions of these coins are being spent, lost, or destroyed every single year. And if you miss the window, that $1 million opportunity could slip through your fingers forever. So, how do you know if you've got one? Why is it so valuable? And most importantly, how can you sell it for life-changing wealth? That's exactly what we're uncovering in this video. Stay with me until the very end, because what I'll reveal could make you rethink every single coin you've ever held. Quick question before we dive deeper. When was the last time you actually checked your change? If you're like most people, you haven't. And that's where the danger lies. Let's start with the mystery. In 1991, the U.S. Mint struck millions of Lincoln Memorial pennies. Most carried the famous D for Denver or the S for San Francisco. But a rare, shocking error slipped into circulation. Some pennies were struck without any mint mark at all. Now, here's where it gets exciting and terrifying. At first glance, these look completely ordinary. You wouldn't notice them in your palm, on a countertop, or in a jar of coins. But under closer inspection, collectors discovered a breathtaking rarity, the no-mint mark 1991 penny. Why does it matter? Because in the coin world, mistakes are gold. The fewer there are, the more collectors are willing to pay. Think of it like diamonds. Rare cuts are priceless. And this penny is like the rarest diamond of them all. Point one recently shocked the numismatic world when it sold for nearly $1 million, $991,000 to be exact. Imagine that, something worth a cent, flipping into a life-changing fortune. Now pause for a moment. Picture yourself walking into an auction, a small coin in your hand, your heart racing. The bids climb, 50,000, 100,000, 200, until it skyrockets past numbers you never thought possible. The hammer falls. Your penny just made you a millionaire. But here's where I need you to lean in. This isn't just about luck. It's about knowing exactly what to look for. So let's talk details. The 1991 no-mint mark penny is identified by the absence of a mint letter under the date. Nothing there. Just the year, 1991. Clean, empty, silent. Now you might be thinking, okay, but how do I know mine isn't just worn out? Excellent question. That's where authentication comes in. Professional graders can determine if it's truly the rare no-mint mark error or just a worn coin. And here's the suspense. That decision could mean the difference between a single cent and nearly $1 million. And let's face it, who wouldn't want to gamble on that chance? Pattern interrupt, reset attention. Speaking of gambling, when was the last time you bought a lottery ticket? Odds are millions to one, right? Well, guess what? Your chances of finding one of these rare pennies might actually be better than winning the lottery. And you don't even have to spend a dime. Just look in your pockets. Back to the journey. Once you find one, the next question is, what's the move? Do you hold it as a future investment, waiting for values to rise even higher? Or do you cash out now and step into wealth immediately? That's a choice only you can make. But either way, it's a door into a lifestyle most people only dream about. Here's the truth. Millions of Americans are unknowingly sitting on fortunes disguised as pocket change. Most will never realize it. Most will spend it. And most will regret it. But you don't have to. The 1991 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is one of those rare miracles of history. A reminder that treasures aren't always buried in the ground. Sometimes they're hiding right in your hand. Now imagine what that kind of discovery could do for you. Pay off every debt. Send your kids to college. Buy your dream home. Live not just comfortably, but abundantly. But here's the urgency. Every day, coins are lost, melted down, or overlooked. Every day, opportunities vanish. The question is, are you going to let that be your story? Or are you going to take action? Check your coins. Search every jar, every drawer, every forgotten piggy bank. Because that one moment of curiosity could change your life forever. And here's your cliffhanger. I'll leave you with this. If the 1991 penny without a mint mark can be worth $991,000, what about the other hidden rarities out there? The ones even more elusive. The ones nobody's talking about yet. That's a story for another video. But for now, your mission is clear. Go find that penny. Because history has already proven. It's out there. And it's waiting for someone bold enough to claim it. Have you ever held a single penny in your hand and wondered if it could secretly change your life? Imagine pulling a 2001 Lincoln Memorial penny out of an old jar in your kitchen and finding out it's worth over $200,000. Sounds impossible, right? But stay with me, because tonight, I'm about to reveal how one ordinary 1-cent coin with no mint mark has shocked collectors, dealers, and even seasoned investors. Before you think, it's just a penny, let me ask you something. Do you know how many fortunes have been built not on gold, not on diamonds, but on overlooked coins hidden in plain sight? And here's the truth that most people don't want to hear. While you're ignoring pennies, someone else is cashing them in for a new house, a luxury car, or even a retirement fund. Now, let's uncover why the 2001 Lincoln Memorial penny is quietly rewriting the rules of wealth. First, let's set the stage. The 2001 Lincoln Memorial penny was struck in massive numbers at the Philadelphia Mint, meaning no mint mark. People tossed them in pockets, piggy banks, and cash drawers without a second thought. To most Americans, it was just another coin in the ocean. But here's where things take a turn. Among those billions of coins, a few were struck with extraordinary precision, untouched by circulation, preserved in immaculate condition. We're talking about pennies so flawless that coin graders place them at the very top of the rarity scale. Now pause for a moment and let that sink in. A penny most people wouldn't bend down to pick up off the street suddenly becomes a six-figure masterpiece. And yes, you heard that right. The current market has valued some of these pristine 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln Memorial cents at an astounding $201,000. Why so much? Simple. In coin collecting, condition is king. Combine rarity with perfection, and you get a recipe for explosive demand. Collectors will fight tooth and nail for a chance to own one of these. But here's where it gets even more exciting. It's not just about condition. Some 2001 pennies display subtle variations, misstrikes, or doubled features. Tiny errors invisible to the casual eye, but to experts, they're a jackpot. And here's a question for you. When was the last time you actually looked closely at your pennies? Not just used them for change, but studied them? Because for all you know, the one sitting in your wallet right now could be worth more than your car. Pattern interrupt / humor reset. And no, I don't mean you should go digging under couch cushions like a treasure hunter. Unless, of course, your couch has been hiding a $201,000 penny. Then by all means, flip that furniture. Transition with cliffhanger. But what exactly makes this particular coin so desirable, and how can you tell if the one in your hand is the real deal? That's where the story gets even more dangerous. Here's the chilling truth. Every year, thousands of Americans unknowingly give away coins worth small fortunes. They spend them at gas stations. They drop them in donation jars. They let them slip through their fingers because they never knew what they had. And that is the tragedy I don't want to see happen to you. The 2001 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is more than just metal. It's proof that wealth can hide in the simplest places. It's proof that opportunity doesn't always come dressed in a suit. It can come as a single copper coin. Imagine selling one coin and instantly paying off your mortgage. Imagine trading one penny for a new future. That's not fantasy. That's happening right now for those who know what to look for. So here's what you need to do next. Pull out your coin jars. Open those dusty drawers. Check every single 2001 penny you come across. Look for immaculate shine, crisp details, and if you're not sure, send it to a professional grader. Because while most people are sleepwalking past fortunes, you could be the one who wakes up to a life-changing discovery. And here's the final cliffhanger I'll leave you with. Somewhere out there, another 2001 no-mint mark penny is waiting. The question is, will it be found by you or by someone else who had the courage to look? Imagine holding a single penny in your hand. Ordinary copper. Something you might drop on the sidewalk without thinking twice. But what if I told you that one penny, a simple Lincoln Memorial cent from 2007 with a tiny D mint mark, could secretly hold the power to change your entire financial destiny? Yes, a coin most people overlook could be worth as much as $207,000 on today's market. Now, before you shake your head and say, "That's impossible," pause for a second, because tonight you're going to discover why collectors are hunting for this coin, how to tell if you have one, and most importantly, what it could mean for your future. Think about it. What if the penny's hiding in your dresser drawer, your coin jar, or even that old coffee can in your garage, were your ticket to a life of wealth and freedom? Sounds crazy, right? But keep watching, because the deeper we go, the stranger and more exciting this story becomes. Quick question. When was the last time you actually looked at a penny before tossing it into your pocket? Exactly. We ignore them. But the people who didn't, the ones who knew what to look for, are now holding coins worth more than a luxury home. That's the hook. That's the possibility. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey that proves it. Let's start with the basics. The coin in question is the 2007 Lincoln Memorial Penny, minted in Denver, marked with the letter D. At first glance, it's just like the billions of others. But here's the twist. A rare combination of striking errors, pristine condition, and collector demand has made certain examples of this coin skyrocket in value. And when I say skyrocket, I mean it. One of these pennies has already been valued at a staggering $207,000. Imagine turning 1 cent into six figures. Now, you might be asking yourself, how does that even happen? And here's where it gets fascinating. Coin collecting isn't just about age. It's about rarity, flaws, and perfection. It's about the quirks of history locked inside a tiny piece of metal. Sometimes the coin press double strikes the design. Sometimes the minting die leaves behind anomalies invisible to the casual eye but unmistakable to a trained collector. And sometimes only a handful of coins survive in flawless, untouched condition, the kind of condition serious buyers will pay fortunes for. Think about it. Millions of coins were minted, but only a few dozen might exist in that perfect storm of rarity and condition. That's why people are willing to pay life-changing money for them. And here's the part that should send chills down your spine. Right now, while you're watching this, one of those pennies could be sitting in your home, hidden among the ordinary, quietly waiting for you to notice. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. First, let's answer the question you're probably thinking. How can you tell if your coin is valuable? The secrets are in the details. Look closely at the date. Inspect the D-mint mark under a magnifying glass. Check the surface. Is it flawless, shiny, free from scratches? Or does it reveal doubling in the letters or numbers? These tiny clues can transform a penny worth 1 cent into a life-changing fortune. And here's a funny thought. Somewhere out there, someone probably used one of these rare pennies to pay for a cup of coffee. Imagine being the cashier that day. You just let a $100,000 coin slip through your fingers for a latte. But let's not laugh too hard, because the truth is, it happens every single day. Now here's the urgency. Every year that passes, coins disappear from circulation. They get lost, destroyed, or locked away in private collections forever. That means the window to find one is closing. And here's the real question. What if you let that window close without even checking? What if you later discovered you had one of these pennies all along? A small fortune, sitting ignored in your pocket change. That's the fear. That's the nightmare scenario. But the good news is you're here now, and you have the knowledge most people don't. So what do? You start looking. You check your jars, your drawers, your wallets. You don't brush off pennies anymore. Because every time you do, you could be walking away from $207,000. Collectors are out there right now, scouring every source they can, desperate to find these coins before someone else does. And once they're gone, they're gone. This is your chance to turn something ordinary into something extraordinary, to take control of your financial destiny with nothing more than a little awareness and action. Because at the end of the day, wealth doesn't always come from hard labor, long hours, or grinding yourself into exhaustion. Sometimes, it comes from the smallest, simplest things, like a single penny in your hand. So here's my challenge. Tonight, after this video, go and check your coins. You might just find the one that changes everything. And if you do, remember this moment, because this was the day you stopped ignoring what others overlook. The day you discovered that even the humblest penny could be worth more than gold. Your future could already be in your pocket.